So Mark Perkell has found his voice. Now we can't get him to shut up. And I know you know I'm only kidding.
But I know
I'm
you.
so
Yeah.
happy you found your voice. So the whole throat chakra thing, right? So
Yeah.
come on up. Tell us an inspirational story.
Okay. Thank you. I need a microphone. Really. Sorry. When I started thinking about what I was going to do, as many of you who've been involved with What's Alive Inside, when I had to answer that question, as I've said often, I didn't know what the hell, because I said I'm a lawyer, you know. So there's nothing alive inside. And it came out to be, when Sally Gaines asked me that question, I said, I guess my voice. And then I didn't know what I was going to do with it, and I said, okay, I'll be in the show. And then I didn't know what the hell I was going to do. And then I had this inspiration of a story that my late grandmother had told me. And I told it twice. So before I left, my spouse looked at me and said, "You're not going to drag out your grandmother one more time, are you?" I said, no. I was trying to figure out what I was going to do. I was originally going to try to sing. I actually was a folk singer once.
What?
And I can actually claim that at one time I sang in front of 1,900 people. I was the halftime entertainment with someone else at a UConn basketball game. Well, hey, you know, something. So I did this, and I was going to try to sing, but I a few years ago had some throat issues, and I kind of lost my voice in that sense, my singing voice. So I said, okay, I'm going to read something inspirational. And I started going through all these inspirational stories. And I'm kind of a sensitive guy, and I just knew that with half of these, by the time I got towards the end, I'd be kind of, which is really embarrassing. So I came across this story, and some of you may have heard it, but it really rang true with me. And after I read it, I do want to make some personal comment about it, because it speaks to me, and some of the theme for tonight, it may go and do the same thing. I'm learning how to use this
Tap
new
the
thing.
screen.
Okay. This is
With your fist.
okay, here we go. It's entitled,
Banging it doesn't work.
okay, no. It's entitled, The Mexican Fisherman Meets Harvard MBA. And the issue is, what really matters in life? A vacationing American businessman standing on the pier of a quaint coastal fishing village in southern Mexico watched as a small boat with just one young Mexican fisherman pulled into the dock. Inside the small boat were several large yellowfin tuna. Enjoying the warmth of the early afternoon sun, the American complimented the Mexican on the quality of his fish. "How long did it take you to catch them?" the American casually asked. "Oh, a few hours," the Mexican fisherman replied. "Why don't you stay out longer and catch more fish?" the American businessman then asked. The Mexican warmly replied, "With this, I have more than enough to support my family's needs." The businessman then became serious. "But what do you do with the rest of your time?" Responding with a smile, the Mexican fisherman answered, "I sleep late, play with my children, watch ball games, and take siesta with my wife. Sometimes in the evenings, I take a stroll into the village and see my friends play the guitar, sing a few songs." The American businessman impatiently interrupted. "Look, I have an MBA from Harvard, and I can help you to be more profitable." Does this sound familiar to you? You can start by fishing several hours longer every day. You can then sell extra fish you catch, and with the extra money, you can buy a bigger boat. With the additional income that the larger boat will bring, before long you can buy a second boat, and then a third one, and so on until you have an entire fleet of fishing boats. Proud of his own sharp thinking, he excitedly elaborated a great scheme which would bring bigger profits. Then, instead of selling your catch to a middleman, you'd be able to sell your fish directly to the processor, or even open your own cannery. Eventually, you can control the product, the processing, and the distribution. You can leave this tiny coastal village and move to Mexico City or even Los Angeles or New York City, where you can even further expand your enterprise. Having never thought of such things, the Mexican fisherman asked, "But how long will all this take?" After a rapid mental calculation, the Harvard MBA pronounced, "Probably 15 to 20 years, maybe less if you work really hard." "But then, senor," asked the fisherman, "what then?" "Why, that's the best part," answered the businessman with a laugh. "When the time is right, you can sell your company's stock to the public and become very rich. You will make millions." "Millions, really? What would I do with it all?" asked the young fisherman. The businessman boasted, "Then you can happily retire with all your money. You can move to a quaint coastal fishing village. You can sleep late, play with your grandchildren, watch ball games, and take siesta with your wife. You could stroll to the village in the evenings where you could play the guitar and sing with all your friends." The moral of the story: know what really matters in life, and you may find that it is already much closer than you think. I've spent a good part of my life going after those boats and those fleets. And I've traveled all over the country and I've commuted. And 2 years ago, I decided that was it. I was going to actually live here and not say I have a house, a spouse, and 2 cats in Vermont. Okay? And I moved here, mentally. And I just committed to being here. I didn't know anyone. I mean, I had traveled so much that I knew no one. And what's really amazing for me is that after 2 years, most of the people in this room I know, I care about, they really matter, all of you matter to me, and I feel like I have a community and a tribe, and it's really wonderful, and I have never been so happy about what I have now. You know, the gratitude of just such friends and people I can help, and every morning I have a sign on my desk. It says, "Bring to me those that I am to teach and serve." And I really follow that watchword, and it's done a lot for me. So, in a sense, I'm now in my village, and I want to thank you all.